insist that you work hard and try to change the world. Have some fun doing it. Yay! But you also know an idea whose time has come cannot be stopped. It can't be stopped by an army. It can't be stopped by the politicians. It can't be stopped by the government. It can't be stopped by Keynesianism. And it can't be stopped by the neocons. So there is no doubt the country has been energized. They hear the message of liberty, and guess what? My message to you is they like it. They like it, and they're ready, and there's still a lot of work to do. There's still a few people in Washington, D.C. that just don't hear the message. And that's why they have to hear from us, and that's what they have been. So I'm delighted to come visit with an enthusiastic crowd. And there's every reason to be optimistic about what is happening, even though there's going to be some rough times. We're going to go through a bankruptcy, and we're going to go through some tough times. But the whole thing is, the answer to it is an idea, and the idea is the idea of liberty. When the founders of this country were being harassed by the king, they had the right idea. They understood what was necessary. They understood it needed a declaration, and they knew it needed a constitution. They needed a new set of rules. They needed the rule of law. But that is what is under challenge today. The rule of law, to think that we have a government, a president, and the courts, and a Congress, and many of the people sitting on their hands and tolerating the idea that the president can use the military to arrest American citizens and even assassinate them. There's only one answer to that, and it is found in the idea and the concepts of individual liberty, the right to your ownership of your own life, and to all. And to all the fruits of your labor. We're going to be going through some economic turmoil. The debt crisis is building. They get up into a debt crisis. They've spent too much. The debt is too big. It's not maintained. The productive jobs are gone. And so the solution is spend more money and borrow more money. Well, guess what? We know it doesn't work, and they need to be taught a lesson. We need something much better. Of course, the very best place to start to teach everybody a lesson on restraining the growth of government would be to restrain or eliminate the Federal Reserve System. And it's a good example of what can be achieved. I went into politics. First time I ran for Congress was way back in 1974. Also started speaking out in 1973 as a consequence of the breakdown of the monetary system. And I've talked about it for a long time, introduced a lot of legislation, but let me tell you, the difference over those first 25 or 30 years and compared to the last 5 years, there has been an explosion of interest in this idea, and it's out of absolute necessity because most people now know that the system that we have today is non-viable. It will not continue to function. We will get monetary reform. We have 80% of the American people now agree with us that at least we have to audit the Fed and find out what they're doing and who their buddies are and who they've been bailing out to the tune of trillions of dollars. That is a must, and it's becoming well known in Washington that there's a lot of you outside of Washington demanding this, and that is the reason that we have been promised that there will be a vote on auditing the Fed in July of this year on the House floor. Now, there's two things that will finally end the Fed. One is just to allow them. If they continue to do what they're doing, it'll end itself because they will self-destruct. The other thing that will bring it to an end is a true audit to find out what they have been doing, and the people will become outraged. To think that they can create $15 trillion worth of credit and spread it out through the world to take care of the banks and not be obligated to tell the people what they're doing to our money, believe me, the more people who find out about that, the more outraged they're going to be. And right now, it looks like they will continue and the economy will get worse, but we are laying the groundwork for the alternative, the answers to the problem we have, and thanks to you and so many others who know the issue now. I have young people come to my office, and sometimes I look at them and say, how old are you? And they're excited about the Fed, and they're reading Rothbard and these other books. And they'll tell me, well, they're 15 years old. I said, boy, you're way ahead of me. When I was 15, I wasn't reading Rothbard. And that is what counts. Politicians have their place. Every once in a while, you have to support one or two of them. But really, it's the ideas that counts. Ideas have consequences. Bad ideas have bad consequences. The world is always moved with ideas. But our ideas are gaining ground. And this is where we should be optimistic. This whole generation now is coming into their lifetime, to coming of age. They are the ones. But in order to provide and preserve our freedoms, we have to look at it, the whole picture. It's the picture of what individual liberty means. It doesn't mean that you can do some things that not others. It doesn't mean that you can spend some of your money the way you want, but not the rest of your money. It doesn't mean that you support some wars, but not others. We have to have a new foreign policy which gets us out of this automatic business of warmongering. And that means we bring our troops home, have them spend their money here at home. What we need to do, though, is make it very popular with not only the libertarians and the constitutionalists, but with the conservatives who claim they believe in less government, that automatic war is without the consent of the people and without the consent of the Congress. We don't want to put up with this. We need to end this. We need just people to go to Washington who will take their oath of office seriously, not only into the monetary issue, but the foreign policy issue. No wars without a declaration of war. And no wars when they get the authority from the United Nations or NATO. Right now, there's a claim in Washington, D.C. by the executive branch that they understand the Fifth Amendment, they understand the due process of law, and nobody's life or liberty will be taken from them without due process. And they've been quizzed. They says, what do you mean? We understand you have a kill list that you sit around and you decide who's going to be on the kill list, and we can automatically then, as they've been put on that list, that the executive branch can use a drone and murder them no matter where they are throughout the world, including American citizens. So when they are quizzed on this, they say, well, we do follow the rule of law, because the rule of law says that they have to have due process. We give them due process. There's 3 or 4 of us. We sit around the executive branch. We sit there and we talk about it and we make a decision, and that's their due process. If the Nazi war criminals could have a trial, all American citizens deserve a trial. But the nice part about this is we have a wonderful, wonderful answer to this, and that is the message of liberty. Because liberty is so wonderful that we don't have to decide how you're going to use your liberty. You can use it any way you want as long as you don't hurt anybody. So this means that the people who will come to support liberty will be diverse. They will want to use their liberty in various manners. Just think, in a religious sense, there will be some that will be very devout, some Christians, some Hindus, and some Muslims, but they'll come together because they want the freedom of religion. So you bring people together that are very diverse in their social behaviors and also their economic behaviors and their personal habits, and then it's not judgmental. The main rule is you can't hurt other people. You can't take their property. You have to fulfill your promises. There has to be contracts. And if you have indeed a moral society that will follow a small set of principles, believe me, we would have a much better chance of achieving peace and prosperity in this country for a long time to come. That is what we need. That is what the world needs today. Thank you very much.